shake the rest up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so fun, like, putting this group together. Like, obviously, you know, once we get into the real heat of battle, like, that's where, you know, those relationships are really going to show of, like, how we stick together. And, you know, there's be highs, there's be lows, but so far, like, it's just been amazing.
What do you get when you mix a WNBA game, WWE-level body slams, and Caitlin Clark playing Peacemaker? Oh, just another day at the office for Sophie Cunningham, who got hit so hard even the referees needed therapy. But guess what? Caitlin Clark didn't just stand there. She showed up like the teammate of the year. And remember when Sophie said she's down to scrap for her squad? Yeah, this game was her audition for Fast and Furious 11 Elbow Edition.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. You know, she's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. You know, she's definitely an X factor.
Washington Mystics, WNBA's answer to a group project where everyone's assignment is play dirty and pray for whistles. Because on this glorious day in basketball history, the Mystics decided to trade in their basketballs for brass knuckles and thought nobody would notice. But spoiler alert, everyone did. Especially one Sophie Cunningham, who practically had to body check her way out of a WWE crossover episode.
Fever should be allowed to just be hit and thrown to the ground or any of those things. She meant to shove her. There's no question. It was a non-basketball play, okay? That is clear. It was not within the realm of basketball. It was a shove. She was frustrated. She was upset. Or in the moment.
And guess who was right there showing support in the heat of all that madness? Caitlin Clark, basketball's newest queen of cool composure, a walking highlight reel with ice in her veins, stood firmly by Sophie, radiating that calm, unshakable teammate energy. She wasn't just clapping from the sidelines or mouthing, "You got this." No, she was fully locked in, embodying every ounce of what it means to have someone's back. But let's rewind this chaos-filled soap opera of a game for a second, shall we? Because the drama didn't just walk in quietly. It kicked the doors open and made headlines.
People that have been in the league 5 years, people that have been in the league, 10 plus years, and having that balance, I think, is really going to help us. And have been around a lot of really good players, and she uses her voice a lot, but everybody really listens to her. So yeah, I think it's the perfect combo of people, and everybody's just really.
The Mystics came into this matchup like they were starring in a low-budget remake of Gladiator, complete with fake blood and even faker strategy. Passes? Optional, apparently. Elbows? Mandatory, and delivered with Olympic-level precision. Sportsmanship? Oh, that got left back at the airport with their luggage and sense of shame. It was less of a basketball game and more of a street brawl with a scoreboard. Every time the ref blinked, a new minor scuffle broke out. You'd think they were competing for the last slice of pizza at a family reunion, not playoff positioning. It was chaos, and they thrived in it.
You might want to show the Fever a little something. But at the same time, that's not that out of the ordinary for my basketball watching life or even playing life, where people fight for possession, somebody shoves the other person, and that's it. As long as the game is called appropriately and it doesn't get out of hand. Same thing with the Iriafen Cunningham thing. They're fighting for the ball. Iriafen loses it a bit, throws her to the floor. She got called for the foul. It is what it is. Then you move on. So I just didn't see this as like some sort of bounty targeting. And that's what I mean by the egregious, I guess is a better word. Did she mean to shove her? Absolutely. Okay, guys? Absolutely meant to shove her. You can think of that what you want. You can process that what you want. I understand. You want to.
Sophie Cunningham, who apparently moonlights as a linebacker when she's not draining corner threes, found herself smack in the middle of a friendly encounter that looked more like an audition tape for Survivor Elbow Island. And oh, did the Mystics deliver. Fouls came from every angle: arms, shoulders, dreams, regrets, you name it. They were practically inventing new body parts to foul with. At one point, it seemed like the referees were handing out fouls like Oprah giving away free cars. You get a foul, you get a foul, everyone gets a foul.
We got to get some props to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham. Man, she is stunning to look at, but her game was stunning tonight. She was balling out.
Meanwhile, Cunningham, clearly in a battle for survival, was dodging more elbows than a nightclub bouncer. If she wasn't a basketball player, she could easily join a WWE match and fit right in with all the body slams and suplexes happening. And then boom, the moment. Sophie gets tangled up with not one but two Mystics players who suddenly forget the ball exists and instead focus on trying to fold Sophie like a lawn chair. And the refs? Probably busy figuring out how to spell flagrant while staring blankly at the Jumbotron.
Floor, and we don't want to see her targeted. I mean, that's weird. Sophie Cunningham says we have a target on our back. What she means by that to me isn't just like somebody's coming to physically hit me, but it's both. It's we're the team that we're saying now, we're the team everybody's talking about. We're the team other teams want to prove something against. Sometimes that can go a little bit too far. Obviously, you don't want to see that happen with Caitlin Clark, but that's the overarching point where you've got vets there. You've got tough players there who aren't going to allow that to happen. And then
Caitlin Clark, being the solid teammate that she is, quickly rushes over, not with her fists, because this isn't hockey, but with something even more painful: class and composure. You can almost see her internal monologue. Seriously? This is what y'all call defense? She gives Sophie that "I got you" look. The same one you give your friend at brunch when someone insults her outfit and you're ready to throw verbal daggers. We even got a quick clip of Caitlin saying to KT, because she's always media gold, where she throws her support behind Sophie with the kind of unbothered calm that says, "I will torch your team with 40 points next game, don't test me." And while she didn't technically say, "I saw Sophie get mauled like a clearance rack cardigan at a Black Friday sale," the energy was loud and clear. But before anyone cries, "Unintentional contact," let's check the receipt, because Sophie Cunningham isn't exactly new to the WNBA octagon. This is the same player who's been on record, multiple interviews mind you, saying she lives for the contact, loves the fight, thrives in chaos. Somewhere in a previous interview, she basically said, "I'm here to go to war for my team," and boy, did the Mystics pick the wrong day to test that policy.
It's just kind of who I am. I want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
Now, let's cut to a deliciously vintage of Sophie, circa not today, Satan, where she's grinning like a cat in a canary cage, saying, "You want to play physical? Cool, let's dance," which translated from competitive athlete to sarcasm means, "I will knock you into next week and make it look like an accident." So yes, the Mystics may have initiated, but Sophie didn't exactly RSVP with an apology. Now, if you're wondering, was this whole game dirty? But let's be clear, this was less a basketball game and more a demolition derby in jerseys. Every time the Mystics came up the floor, it looked like they were playing full combat dodgeball with invisible dodgeballs. Screens turned into shoves, drives turned into landmine simulations. There was more pushing in the paint than at a clearance shoe sale.
Okay, listen, Carver Hawkeye is one of the best environments I've ever been in, let's be honest. But watching Caitlin Clark just show her team how good Carver can be was amazing. The environment was insane. But besides the 36-foot shot she made, which I do have a clip of that, I'll post it, it's amazing, obviously. Broke her own dang record and looked so smooth.
Sophie, who apparently showed up to the arena with a target on her back, responded the only way she knows how, with righteous indignation and just enough sass to make her fouls look noble. And let's face it, she was the only one willing to say, with her body language, "You want this smoke? Because I am the smoke." But the highlight, it wasn't even the shoving. It was Sophie's reaction after the Mystics tried to ambush her like they were auditioning for Real Housewives of Elbow County. She didn't flop, she didn't cry. And Caitlin? She kept her composure. Classic Clark. She could have gone scorched earth in that post-game interview, but instead, she went full diplomatic assassin. Her support for Sophie wasn't loud, it was laser-focused, like a sniper compliment that also doubles as a subtle drag. We got each other's back. Translation, we saw you playing dirty and you're not even good at it.
They are already now attacking Sophie Cunningham. Oh, they're mad. The MAGA Barbies got them angry. They're cheering on violence against this basketball player. Sophie Cunningham just got through by a rookie. And here we go.
Shot too strong there from Olsen. Cunningham pulls down and here's that feistiness.
There you go.
She is fierce in the game. And I know it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. This is a preseason game where Clark is not available.
Meanwhile, the Mystics continued to redefine defense as aggressively misinterpreting the rules. Their offense was less strategy and more run into people and hope the whistle's broken. At some point, I'm convinced their coach handed them a playbook titled WWE SmackDown Basketball Edition. And the refs? Oh, bless their hearts. They saw nothing. Sophie could have been tackled by a moving van mid-court and they'd probably ask if she was flopping, but she held it down. Not once did she give the Mystics the satisfaction of seeing her rattle. Instead, she gave them something even more frustrating: presence. Unshakable, unfazed, unapologetic presence. And we can't talk about Sophie without circling back to her greatest hits. Those glorious past interviews where she essentially says, "I don't start fights, but I definitely finish them."
Enter Sophie Cunningham. She was the lead scorer of the entire game for both teams.
Whether it's post-game pressers or mic'd up moments where she casually threatens to out-hustle every single person in the arena, she's been crystal clear. You don't get to push her around and expect a thank you note. Cue another clip of Sophie mid-interview when she's smiling while saying, "Physicality doesn't bother me, it fuels me." You know, the kind of quote that makes you wonder if her spirit animal is a charging bull. She lives for the scrap. She is the enforcer. If there's a scuffle, best believe Sophie's in the middle, looking like she's having the time of her life. But let's give credit where it's due. The Mystics managed to turn a standard WNBA game into an off-brand action movie. Social media exploded like a microwave burrito. Everyone from casual viewers to WNBA stans were lighting up the timeline with variations of, "Did the Mystics mistake Sophie for a tackling dummy?" and Caitlin Clark looking like she's about to call her lawyer. The memes? Top tier. The slow-mo replays? Academy Award worthy.
And I gotta say, it is so evident when Caitlin Clark is not on the court for the Indiana Fever. She is such a floor general. She is the X factor for the Indiana Fever. She leads the way when they don't have her. I've said this before, but the Indiana Fever look like a
somewhere between the third elbow and the fifth missed call. The Mystics must have realized Sophie isn't just a player, she's a vibe. And you can't knock a vibe off balance when that vibe is also capable of putting you on the floor and draining a three on your head. And let's talk about the sheer audacity of the Mystics' post-game statements. If smugness were a stat, they'd be MVPs. Not a hint of accountability, just vague nods to physicality and competitive spirit, which is code for, "we fouled and got exposed." Meanwhile, Sophie's just over there, casually tying her shoe like, "Is that all you've got?" So, here's what happens next. The next time the Mystics find themselves facing off against Sophie and Caitlin, they're going to need a little more than just body checks and bad intentions. I mean, really, they've got to bring something other than "we're going to rough you up" to the table. Why? Because this isn't just another game anymore. Oh no, it's officially personal. Sophie's got the receipts. Like, all of them, not just some casual screenshot of an awkward text exchange. Caitlin? She's got the range, both on the court and in the smack talk department, and let's just say, the Mystics aren't going to know what hit them.
Here we go. Need Kiki to whack her again. Guys, it's where we're at. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right there, you can see Sophie telling her after that flagrant, "You don't mother effing do that. You don't mother effing do that."
And the best part? The fans? They're locked in. Every play, every dribble, every weird off-the-backboard shot is being scrutinized. They're not just watching, they're waiting for the next jaw-dropping moment. The popcorn is out, the Team Sophie banners are flying high, and there's probably a medical team on standby because, let's be honest, these games have turned into a full-on contact sport. Forget basketball. This is Fight Club District Edition. Next time, the Mystics might want to check their game plan because Sophie and Caitlin are coming in hot, and they aren't taking prisoners. In the grand tradition of try me and see what happens, the Mystics thought they were about to play hardball. So, what happened? They got absolutely outclassed, humiliated even. Instead of intimidating the dynamic duo they were up against, they ended up looking like they were trying to sell a magic trick that didn't even work. Imagine a dance-off where one group confidently struts onto the stage, only to realize halfway through the routine that they've completely forgotten the moves.
Spicy Sophie Cunningham you could call her, because she was out there. She was feisty. She was fiery and all that. But one of her teammates, huge target on our backs. Obviously, the Fever, the most hyped team, the most talked about team, and now a team that has some protection within, right? Some support within, some toughness within, which bodes well for once Caitlin Clark is back on the floor, because you're now surrounding her with the talent. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston were there before, but the toughness as well. And
Instead of gracefully recovering, they start shoving each other, bumping into everyone in sight, and just generally making an embarrassing scene. That's pretty much the Mystics in a nutshell. They didn't just lose, they got exposed for not even having the basics down. It's like they showed up to a performance in a costume but forgot to rehearse. And now, instead of looking like the intimidating powerhouse they imagined, they're looking like the awkward girl group that can't even remember which way to face. Sure, they gave it a try, but unfortunately for them, trying isn't always enough when you're up against the real deal. So next time someone wants to bring the smoke, they better be ready for the fire. Sophie Cunningham isn't just sitting back and letting the heat come to her. Oh no, she's firing back with both barrels blazing. She's not out here just defending herself. She's drawing a line in the sand, setting the tone for what happens when you decide to test her.
The crazy moment that happened within this really good game, Kiki Arafin getting a flagrant foul, and then also Brittany Sykes getting a flagrant foul, all on the same player.
And Caitlin Clark? Well, let's just say she's the perfect backup. She's not the type to make a big show of it, but she's backing Sophie up like a silent assassin. Think of her as the sniper from a distance, with the steady hand of a pro, just waiting for the perfect shot. Her laser pointer of a jump shot says it all. Mess around and find out. You don't get to come for Sophie without feeling the heat, and Caitlin's got the receipts to back it up. They're not playing games. They're setting the bar. If you want a taste of what happens when you step to them, just wait for the highlight reel. It'll leave you wondering why you ever tried.